Hey everyone, Intel's latest 14th generation Raptor Lake refresh processors have just launched, and in the lead up to 14th gen's arrival, motherboard manufacturers have been busy refreshing their lineup of LGA 1700 motherboard offerings. With that in mind, for today's video, we'll be taking a look at a new Intel Z790 refresh motherboard offering from Gigabyte, the Z790 Aorus Pro X. Let's get started. Now the Z790 Aorus Pro X that we have here today sits within the Aorus series of gamer-oriented motherboard offerings at the higher end, where it places above the mid-tier Gigabyte Gaming series and the entry-level ultra-durable series of motherboards. No surprises then that the packaging comes with the Aorus Falcon emblazoned on the front for a more gamer-oriented appearance. Moving over to the rear, we get the usual summary of specs for this board. We'll run through these specs in depth later on in this video. On a side note, if you're new to the ALK Tech channel, do consider subscribing so as to keep up to date with the latest developments in the PC hardware world. With that, let's get on with it. Let's set aside the board for now to see what accessories Gigabyte has included with it. And with the board out of the way, we see that Gigabyte's included a Wi-Fi antenna right here. And this is accompanied by two SATA 3 cables. We do also get two thermistor cables that can be used to measure the temperature of select components within your PC case. A noise detection cable right here that can be used to detect unwanted noises within your PC case. We do also get a G connector that simplifies the process of hooking up your PC's front panel connectors to the motherboard. A handy quality of life feature to have for sure, and all this is rounded off by a regulatory information leaflet. And with that, here it is, the Gigabyte Z790 Aorus Pro X. We see that Gigabyte's really pulled out all the stops to create a nice looking white and silver aesthetic, where we get a white PCB that is topped off by silver heatsinks with white accents, accompanied by a mix of smooth and mirror finishes for a touch of pop. Fans of RGB lighting effects will be pleased to note that the board comes with RGB LED accents on the integrated I/O shield shroud, in the form of an illuminated Aorus logo. Naturally, the board comes with an integrated I/O shield design with decently sized VRM heatsinks. In terms of VRM specs, Gigabyte's included 18 +1+2 power phases with 90 amp power stages. The board comes with a large passive heatsink for the Z790 chipset, and for M.2 drive cooling, Gigabyte's provided full heatsink coverage for all 5 M.2 slots that this board comes with. The rear of the motherboard is quite a sight to behold too, where Gigabyte's gone with a grey and white colour scheme with no shortage of Aorus motifs all around, and we get a glimpse of the solid metal backplate that forms part of the PCIe 5.0 x16 slot to further reinforce it for use with heavy graphics cards. For memory support, the Z790 Aorus Pro X comes with 4 DDR5 slots with support for up to 192GB of RAM and the DDR5 8266 standard when overclocked, with stainless steel reinforced slots of a dual-tab design that Gigabyte terms ultra-durable DDR5 memory armor. Near the bottom of the RAM slots is a USB 3.2 Gen 1 front panel header that provides support for up to 2 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports, and further down, a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type C front panel header. Whilst you're on the topic of front panel USB connectivity, the bottom edge of the board houses 2 USB 2.0 front panel headers right here, with each header providing support for up to 2 USB 2.0 Type A ports. Moving on to some of the special features that this board comes with, we get a TPM header right here, a QFlash Plus button that allows end users to update the board's BIOS without needing to install a CPU, RAM or graphics card, a temperature header that is to be used with the thermistor cables that come included with the board, as well as an onboard reset button, also termed a multi-key button by Gigabyte, that can be reprogrammed from within the BIOS to serve other purposes. Moving up top, we get a noise detection connector that is to be used with the noise detection cable that the board comes with, a pair of Thunderbolt 4 add-on card headers that are to be used in conjunction with a Thunderbolt 4 add-on card that is sold separately by Gigabyte, as well as a set of status LEDs that can help with troubleshooting power-on self-test issues. Moving further up, we get another temperature header, as well as a DisplayPort-capable USB Type-C port, a feature that Gigabyte calls Sensor Panel Link. Now, Sensor Panel Link is a great quality of life feature that taps on the trend of end users having a small LCD display screen as part of one's PC case so as to showcase vital PC statistics or even animated videos of their choice. Having such a video-capable USB Type-C port directly integrated onto the motherboard will simplify the cable management process required to set up such LCD screens. That said, this USB Type-C port supports the USB 2.0 standard and display resolutions of up to 1920 by 1080 at 30Hz. In terms of expansion slots, this board comes with a fancy-looking PCIe 5.0 x16 slot for a graphics card. The said slot sports Gigabyte's unique PCIe UD Slot X design with up to 58 kilograms of load-bearing capacity with a dedicated backplate, and even comes with an inner rubber lining for the slot so as to protect your graphics card's PCB from scratches. As can be seen, the slot also comes with the PCIe Easy Latch feature that helps make removing a graphics card from the slot less of a painful affair. Moving on, we also get a full-length PCIe 4.0 x16 slot that operates at X4 mode, as well as a full-length PCIe 3.0 x16 slot that also operates at X4 mode. In the storage department, Gigabyte has included 4 SATA 3 ports, with all 4 ports in a right-angled configuration so as to aid with cable management. Moving on to M.2 slots, the board comes with 5 M.2 slots, of which this first slot here supports the PCIe 5.0 X4 standard, while the remaining 4 slots support the PCIe 4.0 X4 standard, of which this 5th slot here, slot M2M_SB, also supports M.2 SATA drives. Do note that as the Intel Z790 chipset does not have dedicated PCIe 5.0 lanes for M.2 drives, what Gigabyte has done is that it has split the PCIe 5.0 x16 lanes for a graphics card into half, such that if you have a M.2 drive installed in this M2C_CPU slot, the primary PCIe 5.0 x16 slot for a graphics card will drop down to operate at PCIe 5.0 x8 mode instead. For audio, Gigabyte's gone for a premium Realtek ALC1220 audio codec, while wired internet connectivity is courtesy of Realtek's RTL8126 chip, which provides support for 5 gigabit Ethernet. In terms of wireless connectivity, we've got Gigabyte doing Gigabyte things again with different Wi-Fi modules for different motherboard revisions, where for revision 1.0, which is this particular board that we have here in this video, we get a MediaTek MT7927 module that supports the latest Wi-Fi 7 standard and Bluetooth 5.3. According to the Gigabyte website, revision 1.1 comes with Intel's BE200 module that also supports Wi-Fi 7 and the Bluetooth 5.3 standard. In the cooling and RGB departments, the board comes with a whopping 8 fan headers that are located in these regions of the board. Also included are 3 addressable RGB headers and a 12V standard RGB header located right here. Moving over to the rear I/O, the Z790 Aorus Pro X goes for an integrated I/O shield design. The board comes with 2 USB 2.0 Type-A ports, Wi-Fi antenna connectors, 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type-A ports, a DisplayPort in port that is to be used to enable the Vision Link feature that this board comes with, a HDMI 2.0 port that supports 4K resolution at 60Hz, 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-A ports, of which this port here supports the QFlash Plus feature to update the board's BIOS. We also do get a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port that supports the Vision Link feature, a 5GB Ethernet port, a USB 3.2 Gen 2x2 Type-C port, all rounded off by your usual audio jack connectors. Now, a key feature of this motherboard is Vision Link, which is something that Gigabyte targets specifically at professional content creators, namely graphic designers who use a pen display device for work. The centerpiece of Vision Link is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port, this port right here, that supports power delivery of up to 60 watts and display output of up to 4K resolution at 60Hz, and you would then hook up your pen display device, such as a Wacom for instance, to the said USB Type-C port. You'll then need to connect your graphics card's DisplayPort connector to this DisplayPort in connector right here, as per these photos in the motherboard manual. In conclusion, the Gigabyte Z790 Aorus Pro X is, in my books, one of the nicest looking Intel Z790 refresh motherboards currently available in the market, where it's no slouch and also packs a list of modern features such as a beefy VRM setup, PCIe 5.0 support for a graphics card, a high-end audio codec, and support for the latest Wi-Fi 7 standard. We do also get interesting features such as Vision Link and Sensor Panel Link. That said, I'm not a fan of the PCIe lane arrangement for this board, where you do lose PCIe bandwidth for your graphics card if you have, say, a drive installed in the PCIe 5.0 X4 M.2 slot that this board comes with. With that, thank you so much for watching, hit the like button and get subscribed if you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys around the next time.